I'm Dr. Jeff Naidu. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Management at the Culverhouse College of Business. I'm South African, and I've been here at the university for about 4 years now. I met Sam Raburn when he took my class, GBA 300, and I believe he was a junior then. But I was immediately struck by Sam because he was an incredibly erudite student, very complex, but also lots of depth, and we bonded over that, and we bonded over our shared experience. Sam comes from Germany, and I lived and worked in Europe after I left South Africa. And we were able to bond over the shared experience, and we spent many evenings just chatting and getting to know each other. I really enjoyed having him in my class. Sam has a very inquiring mind, but beyond that is a very solid, authentic human being. I found him to be somebody that looked at the multiple layers in any situation. He did not necessarily take things at face value. I appreciated how insightful he was about various issues, and I also appreciated how he faced his challenges. He was never one that just had an attitude of defeat. He was always taking challenges head on, and he has a very can-do attitude. I think it was an extraordinary privilege for me to meet him, and I'm so excited that he's getting to participate in TED Talks today. I hope you're going to be equally impressed by his talk as I imagine I would be.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Raburn, and I'm a graduate student here at the university studying economics. So if I could take a quick poll of hands, how many of you guys would say that you know me? Just raise your hand. Okay, great. Thanks so much for coming out and supporting our speakers today. That being said, it's sort of a loaded question. None of you really know who I am. You just know what I present myself as. Only I know myself. And so, if you know one thing about me, it's that I'm from Germany. I'm very proud of it. I'm also a Starbucks addict, and sometimes people will say that I remind them of Cole Sprouse, which I will not deny the allegations. It really feeds into my ego. That being said, love that one. Going back to the first fact, I'm German. It's quick, it's cute. I'm German. Yet that one fact about me has unquestionably altered the trajectory of my life the most. And it's because in most situations, I felt foreign. And so that's why I'm here today, to talk about why we should value the experiences of foreigners. Now, being foreign describes so many different things. It can describe race, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic background, and so much more. So while foreign for me means that I'm from a foreign country, foreign can mean so many different things. And for the length of this TED Talk, just remember that everyone's experiences are completely unique, and you should never feel obligated to compare your experiences to someone else's. With that, I'm going to jump into the most foreign time of my life, and that was when we moved to Bushland, Texas for my dad's job. Look at me, so cute. To give you some background, Bushland, Texas is a tiny, tiny town of about 300 people. There are more cows than people, and it's really just a die-hard Texas town. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone is Texas born and raised, and they're proud of it. And so when I went there in the 3rd grade, my first day at Bushland Elementary was unique. I started the day off as I would any other, saying, "Hi, I'm Sam. I'm German." And people loved it. I was weird. I was unique. People loved that I was different. So much so that people would tell me, "Hey, could you say something in German?" And I would say, "Sure, of course." And so many people asked me to say things in German that I eventually started charging people $0.25 per German word that I said. I mean, I've always been an economist at heart. And so I started off the day great, right? I'm doing what I'm loving. I'm German, I'm speaking German, it's amazing. And then come about lunchtime, as young students do, gossip began. There's some weird kid. speaks strange. Never seen him before. And so by the time that recess came around, everyone thought that I was the weird kid. And so they herded me into a corner on the playground, calling me weird, to the point where I cried. I started off the day amazing, and then I ended it with my hands in my face. So these experiences would continue. In the 5th grade, I had a girlfriend for a whole 3 days. Shocking. And she broke up with me because I was the weird kid. She didn't want to be associated with the weird kid. In the 7th grade, girls began eating lunch with me, and I wouldn't realize this until I looked at it retrospectively, but they only sat with me at lunch. They never talked to me elsewhere. And then I realized they were taking my German chocolate. And sure, it's amazing chocolate, right? We're known for it. But they literally just sat and had lunch with me so that they could have some of my chocolate. I have trust issues now. But those experiences are fairly jovial, right? I can joke about them, I can say that with a smile. But other experiences were not that wonderful. In the 6th grade began the era of calling me a Nazi. And if someone was angry with me, if they were mildly disgruntled, they would call me a Nazi. If they were having a rough morning, they would call me a Nazi. This all culminated my last year at Bushland when there was an incident overnight at the tennis court. Apparently, someone had drawn a swastika in chalk. I wouldn't learn about this until the following day when I was heading to one of my classes, and my PE teacher stopped me in the middle of the hall and grabbed my arm. And she asked me, "Someone drew a swastika on the tennis court last night. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that?" And I was dumbfounded. I froze. I didn't know what a swastika was. And yet, I was being questioned that. So I came up with some random German-sounding word. It wasn't even a word. I just wanted to sound credible. And of course, this did not appease her. And so she started tugging me towards the principal's office. And while this topic was later dropped, I went home that night and I searched online what a swastika was. And I put 2 and 2 together. I clearly was being singled out and targeted because somehow in a population of 300, being German was the most different thing, the most foreign thing that Bushland had seen. And so that was my last year at Bushland. We then moved. And then high school happens. The first 2 years were rough, as per Bushland, but it gave me an opportunity to really figure out who I was, because in that time, I was my only friend. I was my best friend. I was the only person who knew me. And so I stuck true to my German heritage, and while I did not say it out loud, for I was conflicted, that's what I believed. I'm proud to be German. I'm proud of who I am. And then come about junior year in high school, I found people who didn't care that I was German. They actually embraced it. They loved the foreign aspect of me, the aspect of me that took Spanish over taking German, despite everyone else's plea. You're German, take German, it's an easy A. No, I'm going to take Spanish. They loved me for who I was, the history addict, the video gamer. Literally everything about me they loved. They came from all different backgrounds, sexual orientation, races. High school gave me a taste of what foreign means. It's not always a bad thing. It can be a good thing. And then a little thing called college happens. We all know where I ended up. College is fascinating because for most of our lives, foreign is perceived as a negative thing. But college is the most common form of self-induced foreigninity. You chose to come here. Everyone did. 55% of UA's population is out of state now, and it's rising. You chose to come here. You may have not known anyone, yet you still decided to come here. You decided to put yourself in a foreign situation, to become foreign yourself. And yeah, it's scary. Freshman year is very scary. But then a little thing called friends comes along. You meet friends that are like-minded like you, that love you for who you are. You meet your best friend, someone who you would not love yourself had it not been for her. You join clubs, places where you meet like-minded people, and heck, maybe you even join the executive board, and then you put yourself in a position where you can help new students that feel foreign find a place where they call home, find a place where they see people the same. You meet people who, despite rocky relationships, you look up to, and you have bickering sessions, and then you go and get coffee afterwards, and you get coffee a lot. You spend tons of hours in Starbucks. So I bring up Starbucks a lot. I am an addict. Hello. And there are multiple reasons that I like Starbucks. There's coffee, there's the perpetual unproductivity. But there's one real reason that I go to Starbucks that many people don't see, and that's to people watch. And you might ask yourself, Sam, that's weird, people watching, but nobody does that. You'd be wrong. A lot of the world actually does people watch, so much so that around the world, like on the streets of Paris, cafes will turn their chairs towards the street just so that customers can people watch. It's fun. It's a leisure activity. It's almost a sport. And so I like to people watch because it gives me an opportunity to see all the people that typically I would not see day to day. There are a ton of characters that come into that Starbucks. Trust me, I've seen them all. But it gives you an opportunity to sort of evaluate your life. You're just one person and you see all of these people fleeting in and out of the Starbucks. And so I'd like to introduce you to two words. Somber. The paranoia that you feel knowing that everyone that you pass in your day-to-day life has an equally complex life as you, yet you'll probably never get to understand it. Tosches Panik. Not English. German. Noun. Definition. The fear that opportunities are fleeting and that time is fleeting. So, for me, I like to people watch because it gives me an opportunity to understand what other people are going through, or at least to hypothesize about what other people are going through. I'll never understand your life, but I can think about your life. I can think about what you've gone through if you've been a foreigner in your life, if you've ever victimized someone for being a foreigner. I can hypothesize. And I do it a lot. I'll sit on the booth in Starbucks and think about your life, even though I probably don't even know you. I'll never get to know you. So I call upon you, the audience, the next time that you're in Starbucks, waiting on your drink, randomly pick someone out, someone that you've never thought about, you've never looked at twice. Single them out for a second. Think in your mind, how's their day going? Are they happy with their lives? How many times have they switched majors? Do they have a stable love life? Do they stay in contact with their parents? Have they ever been bullied for being foreign? Or have they, vice versa, bullied someone for being foreign? Think about that. Because is that person that you're looking at just some kid? Or is he just some kid from a weird country that speaks weird? Or is he just some kid who has thought about what his life would be had he never moved to the United States? Is he just some kid who was stuffed in the locker in the 5th grade? Is he just some kid who was targeted for being gay before he knew what that was or what he was? Is he just some kid who was sexually assaulted during the best week of his life? Is he just some kid who, despite the constant smile and greeting, has faced depression and anxiety his entire life? Is he just some kid who finally decided to speak up about what he truly believes in, enough so to do it in front of 100 random people? Is he just some kid? Thank you.